Do you think that there is a game of life that we're all playing? Like in this reality, there's rules of we can't fly and we can't live to 1,000 years old and we can't, and like we all have some rules that we're playing by, and then we put our own rules into our own life on top of that.
I think the placebo effect is very powerful. And what I mean by that is that I think that there are agreed upon rules, but I think that some rules can be adjusted. And as an example, like even, like you brought up flying, right? Like there's these, monks in Asia, they practice levitating. Like there's guys that have like they can start fire with their hands.
Right.
They can touch iron that's 1,000 degrees. So there's people that are doing very extreme things that would be called breaking the rules. And I think that what's really behind that, is that more of a divine spark? Is that more of our divine nature that we can literally create healing? We can create things with some kind of knowing, with some kind of belief, right?
This podcast is brought to you by B Micro, organic freeze-dried microgreens for easy everyday nutrition. Sprinkle them on any meal and enjoy the benefits. Shop now at bmicro.farm and use PLANT15 to save 15% off your next order.
So I think that there are a lot of agreed upon rules on this planet. And I think that if we collectively shift how we wanted to play the collective game, that many rules can be upgraded. They could be broken, they could be evolved. And I feel like we're moving into an age where that's becoming more and more possible. And so the nature of the game on this planet is shifting for sure. I sometimes joke around like if we can imagine this planet's almost like this escape room. We have these series of rules, of locks, of limitations, of ways in which we're kind of bound. And that could be, statutory law, that could be, disempowering organizations that they have their own agenda. So there's these rules to this game, but I think that we're coming into a time where we're becoming more aware of what have the rules been. And not only do we become aware of that, we get to have the sovereignty agency to choose what kind of rules that we want to move forward with. And I think it's an individual journey, but a whole bunch of individuals collectively, powerfully change the world. And we can only be responsible for the games of life that we play personally, at least to a certain extent. And, once we have our own kind of mastery of playing the game of life in a certain kind of way, then we can be stewards, we can be guides, we can be fellow game designers that can support other people, but always honoring sovereignty. So like no matter what kind of cool game I think I'm playing, like I wouldn't have the audacity to tell you like what is your game. Like, but we can have a discussion. We can talk about things. We can share, game designs. We can share rules. We can positively influence each other to say, yeah, I've been tinkering around with this thing, and I've been, I don't know why it feels fun and cool to play around with, but
it's alive in me.
It's alive in me, and so like I think if there's some agreed upon ways to support each other would be to elicit curiosity, aliveness, inspiration, excitement, those kinds of things. And it's not about like the content of what that is for you. Like maybe I'm just here to support you and helping you like clarify something and we're doing that for each other, and so I think that, that's those, so there's a lot of rules, and, there's definitely a lot more kind of esoteric, dimensions that we could explore. But the game of life's malleable, and we can code, we can experience, we can become the player, and that's the beauty of the human, that we can kind of dance between the different roles of the experiencer, the designer, the player, the observer,